Good evening, good evening, good evening. Invite some people to come in. As you come in, share this wherever you can, if you don't mind. I have a little discussion I'd like to have with you today. If you're watching me for the first time, I'm R.C. Blakes. I'm a pastor. Yes, I'm a pastor. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a counselor. I'm not a psychologist. Some call me a relationship expert. I'm not really that. I'm a pastor and I'm a father, and I have some thoughts about life and things that matter to people. And so when you tune in here, these are just my thoughts. Some people agree with me. A lot of people agree with me, actually, and a lot of people don't, and that's cool, because I appreciate individuality and I appreciate individual thought. So with all of that being said, I thank you for tuning in today. If you're watching live right now, if I don't recognize your messages, they're moving a little too fast. And then for some, it seems to be a distraction for me to entertain my audience in the middle of my messages. And I don't want people to miss the message because of, whatever particular qualm they might have with my social media interaction. But I want to look tonight at kings and queens, the dynamics of a power couple. How does an alpha male and an alpha female, how do they coincide? I love to look at nature shows, especially like the jungle, the wild Africa, and I love to look at lions. And it's amazing to see the interaction between the male lion and the lioness. It's amazing to see that. You can see the respect they have for one another. You can see that the female lioness, or the female lion, the lioness, is everything the male lion is, just in female form. And if he's getting on her nerves, if she's doing something that she doesn't like, particularly with her children, she raises up and he backs off. He has respect for her because he realizes that she is everything he is, just in a female package. And the reality is that every woman, every man is created by God, the Creator, to be alpha. Now, to be alpha means that, you take authority, you step to the plate, you operate in dominion. In whatever capacity we put you in, you take the lead. That's what alphas do. Alphas take the lead. Alphas will take control. If there's no vision, alphas will give you one. And when you look in Genesis 1:27 and 28, the Bible says, because some argue that there's no such thing as an alpha female. I disagree. I think the only woman, in fact, well, I won't get to that because I'll get ahead of my lesson. But if you look in Genesis 1:27, 28, it says, so God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. And God blessed them, male and female. And God said unto them, if you don't mind, share and like as we go. I need you to help me with this. And God blessed them, and God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it and have dominion over the fish of the sea and over the fowl of the air and over every living thing that moveth upon earth. God assigned dominion to Adam and Eve, male and female. Now, what is a king? What is a king? Because there is the spirit of dominion inside of the man, Some exercise it, some actualize it, some don't. Some men cower down and they fall back from their true state or their true divine, the divine order that God has really assigned them to. And there's dominion inside of the woman. There's Miss Pinky. Girl, I was thinking about you. Let me not get off track for my people that get distracted. Watch this. God has put the spirit of dominion inside of the woman. Now, how do you bring these two alphas together, this king and this queen? What is a king, first of all, Pastor? What is a king? You've been using this terminology, queen, king, queenology. What is a king? A king is a man that is complete and secure enough in his own powers, watch this, to empower others. Kings are not small little tyrants. Kings are not power grabbers. They are possessors of power to the point that they empower others. Kings make other kings. Complete and secure enough within himself and his own powers to empower others. Watch this, especially his woman or his wife, for you religious people who need such specificity. He empowers others, especially his wife. He's not a man that is intimidated by his wife. He's not intimidated by others because he's king. He knows who he is. He knows what he possesses, and he uses his powers to empower others. That's a king. That's a king. Now, what is a queen? A queen is a woman who knows her worth, does her work, and demands her price. A queen is a woman who knows her worth, does her work, understands her purpose, does her work, is busy doing her work, and then demands her price from life. She's not a woman that settles for half of her worth, half of her price. She's a woman that knows her worth, does her work, and demands her price. Now, when you bring these two together, wow, now you have what the world terms as a power couple. And we think that that's some new concept. That's no new concept. Barack and Michelle didn't invent that. Mr. Kennedy and Jackie O didn't invent that. God invented the power couple when he brought Adam and Eve together. He brought two alphas together. He brought a man and a woman who were assigned to dominion. He brought them together. Now, let me say this before I get into my points. It is a horrible mistake. In fact, about it, let me make point one, and then I'll make my statements within point one. Point number one, kings and queens are the only ones that can satisfy each other. Let me say that again. Kings and queens are the only ones that can satisfy each other. Can you all share this for me? Can you share this for me? In other words, quite often you have queens that are trying to settle for the court jester. That's the clown. That's the comedian in the court. And she wants to take her little clown, her little jester, and she wants to put him on the throne and put a crown on her little clown and call him a king, but he's only a clown in a crown, and the whole court knows it. And quite often, queens are trying to settle for men that are less than kingly, and trying to convince yourselves that you're fulfilled and you're satisfied with this, and you're really not. And you can't be. You are not designed to be. God created alpha male, alpha female to coincide. Now, all men are created with this potential, but very few realize it and very few maximize it or actualize it. See, I can be ordained king, but until I come into a kingly state of mind, I cannot walk in that. And so, though God created all men to walk in dominion, very few do, because very few have an awakened consciousness. You have very few men who understand who they really are. That's why you have men that become physically abusive. That's why you have, even when you start talking about the personality type that everybody likes to talk about. And again, I'm no psychologist, I'm a pastor. The narcissist. That's really just an outgrowth of an insecure man who feels like he has to put himself above everybody else to make himself feel big because he really feels small. Very few men really have a kingly consciousness, but it takes a kingly man and a kingly woman to come together to really fulfill each other. And how often do you see brothers who are taking women who are who have less than a queen consciousness, and you have a king trying to turn a woman who has no clue into a queen. And he ends up disappointed every time. It's because the reality is that only a queen can satisfy a king. And only a king can satisfy a queen. Anything less than a king or a queen, you're going to be left desiring, you're going to be left unfulfilled, frustrated. This is why it's so hard. Let me talk to the sisters. This is why it is so hard for a woman who has a queen consciousness, a woman who knows her worth, does her work, knows her purpose, is busy about, accomplishing her goals and demands her price. This is why it is so hard for this woman to find, or for a man to find her. It's because a man that is less than a king is intimidated by the presence of a queen. And so when the average woman who does not have a queen consciousness has, a man hollering at her here, a man hollering at her there, 3 from over there, 4 from over there, a queen walks through a room and nobody says anything because the average man knows he does not measure up. And she leaves out of there thinking that something's wrong with me. I'm the only woman that nobody's reaching for. It's because you're the only woman who really has a consciousness that makes brothers know, I can't holler at her. That's above my pay grade. So when you start thinking about it like that, it helps you to understand an area in your psychology as a queen conscious woman that you struggle with. Why don't men holler at me? Why is it that this woman here, who doesn't seem to have anything together, she got 5 different men pulling for her and I can't get nobody? It's because men don't holler at queens. Only kings call for queens. Now watch this. If you go to any kingdom, you'll have, depending on the size of the kingdom, you'll have hundreds of thousands of men or millions of men, but only one king. Kings don't come around every day. But queens are so busy knowing their worth, doing their work, that they don't have time to trip about, I don't have a date, I don't have a man, I don't, where he at? She's so busy running her kingdom that she's just doing her thing, and by the time the king shows up, it's like she turns around and he's there, but she wasn't tripping about it because she was busy maximizing and actualizing her potential, maximizing her life and actualizing her potential. But only kings and queens can satisfy each other. You're not going to be satisfied. I hate to disappoint you, but you're trying to force this little relationship with this person who's not on the same frequency as you. You're trying to make this work. You think you're going to dress this little person up. You think you're going to turn them into something. No. You may dress the outside up, but you're not changing the inside. It takes a king to satisfy a queen. It takes a queen to fulfill a king. This is why the Bible says don't be unequally yoked together. In Deuteronomy 22:10, he says, thou shalt not plow with an ox and an ass together. You can't tie these two unlike, uncommon beasts together and think that you're going to have a productive union. You're fooling yourself. You might as well settle down, brother, and wait for a queen and stop running around here with all of these people. You know, I'm always careful how I describe women. I don't hold back with brothers, but I respect women. Somebody today said, called a woman a thought. I said, I don't call women thoughts. I don't call women thoughts. No. They're queens. They just don't know it. And they need somebody like me to tell them. They're not thoughts. They're just unconscious. But you're fooling yourself, brother, if you think you're going to get you a woman who's less than a queen-conscious woman and pull her into your kingdom and think that she's going to really be able to function as a queen. She's going to embarrass you. She's going to frustrate you. She's going to disappoint you. You're going to probably find out she's not loyal. She's not going to be able to help you. She may look good, popping gum, fine, but no perspective on your vision. Not able to help you, not going to sharpen you, not going to help you to get better. It takes a queen to sharpen a king. It takes a queen to challenge a king. You get a little woman that, okay. Kings and queens are the only ones that can satisfy each other. No substance, all style, no substance. You get your little man, you know, he in the gym all day, and that's cool. I should be in the gym, be honest with you. I should really be in the gym, but you know, that's cool. But you don't just want a man that's a gym rat, knows nothing about a book, knows nothing about finances, knows nothing about a job. You need a king. So kings and queens are the only ones that can satisfy each other. And you don't run across kings every day. And brothers, you don't run up on queens every day. Just because a woman fine and she know how to dress and all of that, that don't mean she's a queen, bro. It doesn't. Number two, kings. Are you all sharing this? Are you all sharing this? And make sure you like this. And if you've not subscribed to my channel, subscribe. Number two, kings acknowledge the queen's power. Kings acknowledge the queen's power. Why is this? It's because kings are so secure in their own power, they never view their queens as competition. Kings view their queens as their partners. Kings view their queens as their teammate. That's why a king wants a strong queen. A king does not need a weak queen, because a king needs a queen that if he has to go off to battle or if he's down for a minute, he has to have a queen that he knows is strong enough to run the kingdom because she runs her own. So he acknowledges his queen's power. He's not trying to blow out her candle. He's not intimidated by her strength. He doesn't care that she makes even more money than him because he knows who he is. I'm the man. I submit to you, if you're a woman and you have a man that's already shook up about you making $10,000 more a year than him, you may need to rethink that. You have married that man, you may need to rethink that. That's a bad sign, because kings don't get intimidated by women. In fact, kings are not intimidated by anybody. King ain't even concerned when an eligible dude is in his woman's presence, because the king knows who he is. Kings acknowledge their queen's power. How many brothers do you see today that take their women and break them, literally, intentionally break them, Just break them down. Take beautiful women and tell them that they're ugly. You're not attractive. I'm the only one that will ever want you, and just empty their self-esteem. It's not a king, man. A king acknowledges his queen's power. He acknowledges her beauty. He respects her brains. He respects her opinions. He will even ask for her opinions, and he'll follow her advice. If he deems it best, he'll follow her advice, and watch this. He'll benefit from it, and he'll even tell the world, my woman gave me that advice. Because kings acknowledge their queen's power. Kings are never intimidated by the queen's power. Somebody said, my husband did that to me, he passed away. You had a great one. If you're in reference to the positive things I mentioned. If the other things, well. Proverbs 31:11-12 says, the heart of a husband doth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. See, when a king has a queen, the Bible says his heart safely trusts in her, because he knows that she's a powerful woman. It destroyed me. Okay, I get it. He knows that she's a powerful woman. And he acknowledges her power. You know, there's so many things that my wife brings into my life that the world sees, and the world, the world gives me credit for it, but really it's my queen behind the scene that's pulling that stuff together. Like I was sharing this lesson the other day on Facebook. Thus far, I've built two buildings. Yeah, I think 2 buildings I've built from the ground up. And if you took me right now and asked me to read some plans, I don't know how to read no plans. I don't even know the first step to take to build no building. Everybody gave me credit for building buildings. My wife was the one that built those buildings. My wife was the one that built those buildings. When I met my wife, I wasn't making a whole lot of money, but I was making enough that my credit shouldn't have been bad. My credit was bad when I met my wife. When I met my wife stepped into my life even before I married, and took control of my finances and got my credit right. Got all my bills ordered, got my stuff paid on time, got me with A1 credit. My wife did that. Now, what if I married a woman just popping gum and fine? Huh? Kings acknowledge their queen's power, because a king, man, he rejoices in the power of his queen. Gives me joy to be able to say to y'all, my wife did that. My wife did that. You heard the way I say that? My wife did that. My wife did that. Because the quality of a man's wife is an indication of his intelligence. Let that soak in. The quality of a man's wife is an indication of his own intelligence. If you got a woman that's fine and can't even hold a conversation, that's a reflection on you. Number 3, kings are decisive. We're talking about how does this alpha male and this alpha female, how do they blend? There's my baby Keisha. I love you, honey. How do they blend? How do you create the chemistry between a king and a queen? Well, kings have to be decisive. This is number 3. Kings have to be decisive and assertive. Kings have to be, listen to my wording now. Kings have to be decisive and assertive. You cannot have a queen on your arm and be less than decisive and assertive. Now kings are not overbearing, and kings are not controlling. But kings are decisive and assertive. Kings don't even have to always be right, but kings always have a position and will take action. There's nothing that frustrates a queen more than being tied to a man that won't make a decision and won't assert himself, just laying back in the cut, Just can't make a decision, always nervous, nerves always bad, always scared, almost look like he got more estrogen running in his system than she does, just timid, no. A queen cannot be satisfied with a man that's not decisive and assertive. I didn't say aggressive. Kings are not aggressive, not with their queens. Kings can get aggressive with other kings and with, situations in the world. They don't get aggressive with their queens. And at home, they are decisive and assertive. They're going to take action. They're going to make a decision, even if they're not sure about it. A king is so bent on being decisive that if he's not sure, he will consult his queen. Babe, what you think? How do you think? What do you think about this? How you think we should handle this? And if she doesn't have a response, then he's going to put his finger on his head and he's going to pull a trigger, make a call and pull a trigger. Let's do this. And his queen going to get behind him and follow him. If it doesn't work, then they come back to the drawing board. But he ain't going to be sitting around indecisive, timid. You do it, Tim. You do it. No. The Bible says in James 1:8, a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. Kings know what they want. And one of the first things about a king is that when he sees his queen, he don't spend a whole lot of time, iffing and pondering and, want to date for 5 and 6 years. No. If he over 30 years old and he see what he want, know what he want, he go get what he want. Because kings are decisive and assertive. Don't take a king all day to go and take a woman that he knows is his queen and take her off of the market. A queen cannot possess more testosterone than her man. I try to get these dudes to understand this. A lot of these little dudes are too passive and they think it's a good look, and it's not a good look. A woman does not want a man, and I've never been a woman, so y'all tell me if I'm wrong, but I've observed them. And I don't believe that a woman wants a man that's passive and timid and soft and a pushover. I think a woman wants a man that's going to respect her position, her opinion, going to seek her counsel, will listen to her position. But at the end of the day, if he has a hard position on something, she wants a man that's man enough to take his position and stand by it. I believe that. I ain't never been no woman, clearly. I'm 1,000% man. So y'all tell me if I'm wrong. I don't believe no woman want no man that's just weak and scared and
No.
You don't think so, babe? No. Woman don't want that, huh?
No.
You sure?
Positive. No.
My wife said I'm right. Praise the Lord.
No monkey man.
No monkey man. A monkey man is a little dude that a woman can take and put a little red velvet suit on him and put some little patent leather shoes on him with some little bells on it and play the music and tell him dance. And he go to dancing. Stop. Jump. He said, how high? He jumping. Woman don't want that. Now, she may think she want that. She may think she wants that. But if she get that ain't going to keep her. Let me read this. A man's prolonged passivity is poisonous to the chemistry in a relationship with a queen. Kings get weak, but they never lie down and they never give up. A man with prolonged passivity, just always weak, always crying, always whining, can't make a decision, complaining about everything in life, but you won't make no decisions and you won't take no action. He not going to be able to hold on to a woman's respect. Not a queen. Not a queen. And see, some of y'all got little dudes like that you're trying to date and you're trying to convince yourself that this is your husband. But be honest with you, if you can just run over your little man right now, I ain't gonna speak nothing on your little relationship, but if you just running over this man right now, you can just talk to this man any kind of way, talk to him like he's a child, and he don't check you and put you in your place, And I'm not talking about, no king puts his hands on a woman. No king has to use vulgar language to get his woman straight. All the king got to do is say, now, hey, you talking to a man here. You talking to a man. Now, you're not talking to your son. You talking to a man here now. And what a king does, he'll just exit the premises until you get your mind right. But he ain't gonna let you disrespect him, because he's decisive and he's assertive. I know I'm gonna get a whole lot of people gonna eat me up with this one, but you're gonna have to eat me up because I believe it's true. Number 4, queens are never disrespectful and kings are never condescending. The chemistry between kings and queens. Queens are never disrespectful, not a queen. You can't pay a queen to disrespect a man. And kings are never condescending. Kings don't talk down to their woman, and the woman does not disrespect her king. There's a very respectful relationship. My wife and I, she's sitting in the room here with me right now. We have disagreements all the time, but my wife can come on this camera right now and tell you I've never acted like I was going to raise my hands to my wife. I've never called my wife out of her name. There's a certain tone we use with one another, and it gets loud for a second, and if it gets too loud by me or by her, we check the other and we bring it on down back to a respectful place. My wife and I have such respect for one another that we've had full-blown arguments in church in the middle of service, and people didn't even know what was going on. That's how respectful it is. Full-blown arguments in church, and people didn't even know what was going on. That's how respectful it is, because queens never disrespect their kings, and kings never condescend or speak condescendingly to their queens. Any man that has to speak down to his woman is suffering with empty self-esteem. Just the truth. Any woman that disrespects her man verbally is struggling with something on the inside of her soul. There's no space for the disrespect of one another. The Bible says in Philippians 2, 3, and 4, let nothing be done through strife or vainglory, but in lowliness of mind. In lowliness of mind, let each esteem the other better than themselves. I have to view my queen as being better than me. And my queen has to view me as being better than her. I treat her as though she's better than me. She treats me as though I'm better than her. Verse 4 says, look not every man on his own things, but every man also on the things of others. Queens never disrespect the kings, and the kings never condescend or speak condescendingly. Now watch this. A true queen, let me read this. A true queen would never disrespect her man because, number one, he won't allow it. And secondly, she understands that she cannot help him once she's disrespected him. Once you disrespect, see, you can disrespect the court jester and he'll keep dancing and laughing for you. But once you disrespect the king, you can't help him no more. You can disrespect a king one time and you may never be able to win him again. The Bible says in Proverbs 18:19, a brother offended is harder to be won than a strong city, and their contentions are like the bars of a castle. When you've turned a good man off, see, now it takes a lot to turn him off, but when you've turned a good man off, when you've turned a king off, sometimes it's impossible to turn him back on. And see, sometimes you've been dealing with these clowns so long, you don't really know how to deal with a king. And now maybe you have a king that's shown up in your life, and you trying to handle him like you handle those clowns, and you're going to look around and you ain't going to hear from him no more. He out of there. You're going to wonder what happened to him. He disappeared, because kings are not going to be disrespected. And queens are not going to accept any man speaking condescendingly. You're not going to just talk to no queen no any kind of way. Bible says in Colossians 3:18 and 19, wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands, as it is fit in the Lord, as it is fit in the Lord. Husbands, love your wives and be not bitter against them. Yeah. Now, watch this. Invite some more people to come in if you all don't mind. Yeah, once you lose a queen, you know, God bless you as a man, God blesses you to really have a queen of a woman in your life, and you do all kind of stupid stuff and thinking you're going to just come there and talk that old slick talk and you're going to get this woman back. Man, once you lost the queen, she gone, I'm telling you. When the queen pack her bags and leave out, she ain't coming back. When the king goes, he doesn't return. Number 5, kings and queens are a team to themselves against the world. Kings and queens are a team to themselves against the world. It's an exclusive relationship that a king and a queen has. Nobody can come between a king and a queen. Children don't get in the middle of no king and queen. No, ma'am. No, sir. Mama and daddy don't get in the middle of no king and queen. Siblings don't get in the middle of kings and queens. Friends don't get in the middle of kings and queens. BFFs don't get in the middle of kings and queens. It is me and her against the world. We are a team to ourselves, period. We have plans and strategies that nobody else knows anything about, because she and I are a team. Genesis 2:24 and 25, it says, therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother and shall cleave unto his wife, and they two shall be one flesh. You join and you become, see, marriage is, watch this, marriage, as I always say, is not the death of you or me, it's the birth of we. And we become something in our union together that we could have never been as individuals. And we are a team to ourselves against the world. Watch this, kings and queens defend each other. The king can be wrong, the queen gonna defend him, and she gonna get him straight when they get back into the palace. Queen can be wrong, the king gonna defend her, and he gonna correct her when they get back in the palace. She may throw a few plates at him, but she gonna get corrected when they get back in the palace. But they always stand together. They always have one another's back. It ain't never a situation where the queen feels like, well, if I get out here, the king he gonna bail on me. He gonna, you know, tuck his tail and run and leave me out here on the front line by myself. Never, never. It's not a situation where a man say, well, man, I would take the risk, but I'm scared to go because I don't know if my woman gonna back me up. We are a team to ourselves against the world. If you don't have a relationship where you feel like this is your teammate, good God Almighty, you don't have much. 1 Peter 3 and 7 says, likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them, the wives, according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel, and as, watch this, being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered. What does that mean? That means that me and this woman, my wife, we have to be in sync for the things that, the visions that I have in my heart and the dreams we have for our lives. We have to be in sync and view each other as teammates, not competition, but teammates. Are y'all hearing what I'm saying? All right, number 6. I only have 7 and then I'm done. I'll let you go. Number 6. Don't forget to like this. Are y'all liking this? I'm not seeing much on the screen. I need y'all to like this. I understand that that's important. And share this. And if you've not subscribed to my channel, please do so. Number 6, kings and queens push each other. Kings and queens push each other. A king, okay, let me read this. Kings and queens are equals and don't allow the other to slack. A king takes pride in the advancement of his queen, and queens glory in the growth of their kings. See, a queen is not going to allow her king to lie around on her couch in a wife beater eating cereal out of a cake mixing bowl all day without a job. A queen is going to push his behind off of that couch and push him to the front door and push him down to those people's office to fill out that application. And if he can't be pushed to fill out that application, she's going to at least push him out of that door and lock it behind him. That's why a lot of times brothers tell me, I see brothers, they be reaching for, they be reaching for queens, in the church. I watch them. They go to reaching for a queen. Now, he ain't got his stuff together. He ain't got his mind right. He not on that frequency yet, but he reaching over his head. And they mess around and grab a queen. And then 6 months later, they come here starting out to my, oh, she the one. And 6 months later, I'm saying, what's happening? I don't see y'all, y'all not sitting by one another in Bible study no more. What's going on? Oh, Pastor, she just a little too pushy. Queens are pushy because queens don't have time to waste, and queens love progress. Queens are not going to settle for a man sitting on his behind doing nothing. Kings and queens push each other. Kings don't let their queens sit around full of potential and just sitting around doing nothing with it, putting on lipstick on Instagram all day, and you have all of this potential in you, and you mean tell me you not getting up off of it, reaching for it and doing everything? A king gonna push his woman to reach her full potential, and he ain't intimidated by it. Because kings and queens push each other. See, they're made out of the same stuff. Proverbs 27:17 says, iron sharpeneth iron. So a man sharpens the countenance of his friend. Kings and queens sharpen each other. And when you see the image of iron sharpening iron, what do you see? Sparks flying. So the relationship between a king and a queen sometimes is contentious and sometimes is volatile, but it's always progressive. They get in one another's face and they get on one another's nerves because they're constantly sharpening one another. They challenge one another. When the world is applauding, oh, you're the best. You come home, your queen says, you're all right. I know you got better in you. Because they push each other. And they push each other because they are made of the same stuff. And they have the same vision. What is the stuff they're made of? Dominion. Dominion. You got to have a woman, man, that's made out of the same stuff, the stuff of dominion. You got to have a man that's made out of the same stuff, the stuff of dominion. And what is the stuff of dominion? It's to be fruitful. It's to multiply, replenish, subdue. It's the stuff of dominion. And when you start falling short of dominion, I got to push you into your potential. That's how kings and queens function. The relationship between kings and queens is not all about sex and romance and smiling and drinking wine and lighting candles. No. It's sometimes it's friction because we sharpening one another. Y'all with me? See, you don't want a man that's not going to push you. You want a man that's going to push you into your potential. You don't want a man that's just going to let you sit there and you know you just putting out 50% and you know you got 100 in you and he don't push you. You need a man that's going to push you. You don't want a woman that's not going to push you into your potential. You sitting around here just bumming through life and you got a woman just letting you do it. In fact, she going to work the job to pay for you to be a bum. No, you want a woman that's going to push you up out of that bum status and push you into your full potential. Kings and queens push each other. Number 7, and I gotta let y'all go. Whew. Kings and queens discuss personal matters privately. Kings and queens don't bring everybody into their personal affairs. Kings and queens have counselors, they have pastors. The kings and queens don't usually involve their families in their affairs unless it's something life-threatening. But if it's just our stuff, kings and queens keep their communication private. They don't, queens don't run out sharing all of their personal matters with her friends, and her friends got all your business all over the church, all around the job, all through the club, all through the the exercise place or whatever you call it. Queens keep their business between me and my husband. Number one, in a king and a queen relationship, they really are one another's BFFs. You know, brother ain't, king ain't talking about no best friend outside his wife. I may have friends, but my best friend is my woman, my wife. Period. My best friend is my wife. The one that sits next to me on the throne, that's the one, that's my kingdom. That's my best friend right there. And so there are things that we gonna talk about ain't nobody else in the world gonna know about. And we keep our business our business. And some of y'all have squandered great relationships because you've taken and brought other people into the inner chambers of the palace. You made them privy to business that they had no business hearing, enough to get their heads cut off. Safe and sacred, that's exactly right. Bible says in Psalm 112 and 5, a good man, Psalm 112 and 5, a good man showeth favor and lendeth. He will guide his affairs with discretion. Kings and queens know how to shut their mouths and keep their business where it's supposed to be. And they don't allow family or friends into their personal business. So that's my little thoughts on, those are my little thoughts on the understanding the dynamics of a true power couple. And of course, we can go further. I may do some other installments on this, but I just had those thoughts and I shared them on Facebook the other day. So I thought to share them with my YouTube family. And I love coming live. I really do. And so with that said, I'm done. And I hope that you've gotten something out of this. I pray that you got something out of this. Hope that this helps you. Share this with your friends. And, again, don't forget to like it. Don't forget to share it. And if you've not subscribed to my channel, if this is your kind of thing, hey, subscribe to my channel. And we're going to keep coming at you. Don't forget to go and pick up my newest book, my latest book, Queenology. There's a queen inside of you. I got another book idea. I haven't written a book this year. And I have another book idea that I think I'm going to work on next year. I'm not going to tell you what it is because somebody else might take my idea. I'm not going to do that. But I think it's going to be powerful. It's going to be centered around, what I'm thinking is going to be centered around relationships. Yeah. I think it's going to be a great tool for husbands and wives, engaged couples, even boyfriends and girlfriends to sit down and discuss relationship and how it's supposed to work. Reach out to Lisa and or I at pastorrcblakes@gmail.com. That's our email address, pastorrcblakes@gmail.com. Go to my website, rcblakes.com. Pick up my books. When you buy my books, you just help me to do the things that I need to do. And find me on Instagram. You can find me on Instagram at rcblakes. Yeah, I think that's it, rcblakes. And Twitter, RSC_Blakes. Periscope, RSC_Blakes. I love you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me this evening. I'll talk to you real soon. And I love you. God bless you now. Have a great evening.